David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review and a giveaway. Today I have for you the latest release from Benu, which is a limited edition model from their Euphoria line called the Euphoria Spring. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of the Benu Euphoria, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to the good folks at Benu for providing this pen for review and to give away to one of you. Stay tuned to the end of the review to learn how you can enter to become eligible to make this pen your very own. A few months back, I reviewed a pen in the Euphoria line when that line was first released, and Benu has now released 4 limited edition spring models. There is the Spring Bloom in pink, the Spring Sun in yellow, Spring Leaf in green, and Spring Sky in blue. The pen arrives in this standard Benu box. Inside, there is a use and care guide. Then in the bottom of the box, there's some shredded paper to help protect this pen during shipping. I've mentioned this in previous reviews, but Benu is located out of Moscow, Russia. And then the pen is housed in this kind of cardstock sleeve. And if you weren't paying attention during the thumbnail or the intro, the pen that I have for you today is the Spring Bloom. The Euphoria is one of the larger Benu offerings. The majority of their pens are more on the medium and smaller size. The size of this pen is a bit closer to my personal preference regarding size. It's made from resin, and both the cap and the barrel have 10 facets. Now, I know Benu is not known for their subtlety. Their pens have a tendency to be very sparkly and have an abundance of flair. Personally, I care for the more subtle options that they offer. But I know that there are a lot of folks out there that really love the pizzazz. And all 4 of the spring offerings have that abundance of flair. With this Bloom model, we're looking at 3 main elements. There are some areas of solid pink resin, some areas of pink and white mixed resin, and then the silvery sparkly accents across the pen. With the mixture of pink and white resin, it's more of a blending technique as opposed to something like swirling or ribboning. With this material and the dispersion of the silver as well as of all of the pink and white mix, it will be different on each of these pens. So every pen is going to be unique. Let's take a look at the cap. The top of the cap is slightly rounded, and then it transitions into the clip. The clip is stainless steel and a bit of a unique design. Typically, clips are straight or slightly angled down. This clip, however, is slightly angled up. You can press the end of the clip and it will rise up the front for ease of use. I like clips like this where you can kind of interact with them in order to operate them. But even if you don't press down on the clip, it has enough spring tension so that it operates with no issues at all. The cap angles up. And then at the end, there is a faceted solid pink band with the company name Benu. I did notice there's a bit of texture in the letters on this particular model. The texture was not present on the original Euphoria model, but it is present on some other Benu models. Then on the opposite side is the number of this pen. This particular pen is number 2 out of 150. There are 150 being produced of each of the 4 colors. Having a very low number like 2 is kind of cool. So make sure that you enter the giveaway in order to potentially add this very pen to your collection. There is a medium-sized step down to the barrel. The barrel tapers down at a fairly even angle until you reach the end where, like the top of the cap, it is slightly rounded. The cap twists off with about 2 1/4 rotations. The standard Euphoria models took 3 full rotations, so that's a little bit of a change in this model. Underneath, you will find a stainless steel number 6 Schmidt nib. The nib is available in fine, medium, and broad. And here's a look at the plastic feed. The section begins with a slight flare. Benu sections are typically a bit on the narrow side. I still find them very usable, but my personal preferences are for sections to be a little bit thicker. It angles up until you reach the cap threads, and then there is another extended back portion before a medium-sized step up to the barrel. This is a rather lengthy section. I don't find the threads to be sharp or uncomfortable if your grip should rest on them, and I do like the feeling of the facets on my hand when using this pen. The pen is plenty long enough to use unposted. The cap does post, and it does post securely. However, it does add a considerable amount of length to the pen. Even though the majority of the weight of the cap is in the front, I feel it backweights the overall balance a little bit. On top of that, I've never been fond of what I've called the mushroom caps, where the end of the barrel is tapered, and then there's an exaggerated step up from the barrel to the posted cap. Sitting on top, it looks a little bit like a tall mushroom. So personally, I prefer to use this pen unposted. This is a cartridge converter pen. It accepts standard international cartridges, and a converter is provided. With no metal parts in this pen, if you use the appropriate silicone grease, then eyedropping it would be possible. The Benu Spring collection is available from a large number of retailers. I mentioned it previously, but there are only 150 of each of these color offerings. I believe it retails for right around $120. This is in line with the other Benu offerings out there. Now, Benu pens are a bit polarizing. They're not for everyone. There are folks out there that love all the glitz and shimmer, and it can be a bit much for other folks. Personally, I care for Benu's more subdued models, but the pens are well built. You'll see in the writing sample, but they perform very nicely. And if you are into a little glitz and shimmer, then this, as well as a multitude of other Benu offerings, are things you should definitely check out. If you would care to enter a chance to win this very pen, all you need to do is to be a subscriber to this channel, drop a like on this review, and then leave a comment below in YouTube. In regard to a comment topic, Benu pens have some distinct looks. Let me know if there is a pen in your collection that you would feel would look nice if it were to receive the Benu treatment. The comment topic is just a suggestion and not a requirement. Complete contest details can be found in the notes below this video. Okay, now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Benu Euphoria Spring. In regard to some other Benu models, here it is with an original Benu Euphoria model. This is the Big Wave. Then here it is with a hexagon, and here it is with a tattoo. Then in regard to some other pens, here it is with a Pilot Metropolitan, a Lamy Safari, and then a pen that will be reviewed here coming up in the near future, which is a Auto Hut Design 4. And this is called the Wave Blue. It has some really nice blue wavy material here. So I'm looking forward to sharing that one here in the upcoming future. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, this is what it looks like with the Safari and the hexagon, and with that Auto Hut. Here we go with the writing sample for the Benu Euphoria Spring Bloom. The ink that I'm using here today, I wanted to use something colorful for this colorful pen. So I am using Kala Neon Purple. Oh, and this pen is a broad. This is what the Kala Neon Purple looks like. They have a really nice line of neon inks. And rather than showing you a bunch of purples, I wanted to show you a couple others. There's a neon pink, and then there's a neon red, which is very much like a coral red. Then the bottles are cool as well. This one is the neon purple, and it says Boogie on it. I do have a review of a number of these, or I show a number of these in a review of one of the Kala inks here on my channel. So you might want to check that out as well. Okay, here we go with the rest of the writing sample. I find this broad nib to be very generous. It's fairly smooth. You're not going to get a lot of line variation out of here. But the ink flow is very nice on this pen. In regard to reverse writing, it is a little bit sharp, but it gets the job done. And in regard to some fast writing, the feed doesn't have an issue in keeping up. So there we have the Benu Euphoria Spring Bloom. It's worth checking out, all of the ones in the spring line. I think that they're interesting pens, especially if you are into the Benu look, then it's something definitely you want to check out. And then don't forget to like this video and make sure you're subscribed to this channel and leave a comment below for your chance to win this very pen. And I'm sure that whoever wins it will enjoy it. Okay, until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.